Let's answer the final three questions. First, which measure of center do you think best describes your data? Your measure of center is your mean, median, and mode. I would say don't pick mode in this case. Mode is 4. Mode doesn't really describe most of the data. There's lots of different numbers we have there, so I think you can get by picking either median or mean. You really can't go wrong ever picking median. There's a sentence you could use, and it describes your data best because it's the middle of all the numbers. I personally think mean is your best answer here, but I would not mark median wrong. I would really never mark median wrong. But mean best describes the data to me because it gives a better representation of the variety of values found in our data set. If we took that mean 2.7, it would go right here. And I think just that little bit of movement makes it just a little bit that much more better because we do have a 0 and a couple 1s down here. And it kind of moves your measure of center a little bit closer down there. I think the fact that we have so many 4s here, it skews the data a little bit. But either of those I would say is acceptable. You don't need word for word what I have there. Next, these are your measures of variability. They are your interquartile range and your range. Which one do you think best describes your data? For this one, we talked about which one to choose in a situation like this in previous lessons. I'm going to go with range here because range and IQR, your range is 4, your IQR was 2. I said if your range and IQR are very close to each other, you should choose range. My data is clustered between 0 and 4, and there are no outliers or gaps. The only time you would want to choose something like IQR is when you have a large cluster, and then you have 1 or 2 numbers that is way bigger or way smaller than the rest of the data. Here we don't have any that are way bigger and way smaller. In fact, we only have one whisker when we're making a box and whisker plot. And that one whisker is not going to some far-flung outlier. It's going simply to 0. So your range is definitely the one to choose here. When range and IQR are close, choose range. And last, I don't know what you had for this answer because it depends what statistical question you asked at the beginning. Just so I have something down, my statistical question was, what was the mean number of pets owned by the orange students? So to answer my question, I could simply say the mean number of pets in the orange class is 2.7. And that's all I really need. Your answer here, again, depends on what you wrote in the original statistical question.